Hello everyone and welcome to Killershrewfan's Killer Toy Reviews, and today it's time for another countdown. Last time I gave you my top 5 picks from Mattel for the year of 2022, and now we're gonna keep things rolling with my top 5 pop culture inspired models of the past year. That means any new for 2022 figure in my collection that's based on the creatures of film and television will be up for consideration. I don't necessarily have to have reviewed it, I just have to own it. So here we go, it's Killershrewfan's Killer Toy Reviews, and these are my top 5 pop culture releases of 2022. As always, gotta do some honorable mentions here. The first figure is a bit of an odd man out in that I really didn't know what list to include it in. It's definitely not a scientific model, but it isn't really based on anything from pop culture, at least not anything I know of, so I wasn't sure what list it really belonged to, if any. That being said, it was such an awesome model that I had to mention it in at least one of my top pick videos. I'm talking, of course, about Rebor's dope Triceratops Horn of Doom figure. This thing took nearly a decade to finally see the light of day, but wow, was it ever worth the wait. It's massive, gnarly, and all around badass, and easily among my favorite recent Rebor releases. The next honorable mention I want to make is another odd duck. Nanmu's Mordred Rex was an offbeat release from the company this year, and I've got some very mixed feelings about it. On the technical side of things, I think it's one of Nanmu's best sculpted and painted figures to date. There are so many unique textures and design elements in both the sculpt and paint application, I can't help but be impressed by it. That said, its design has an everything but the kitchen sink feel to it. I can't tell if it's meant to be a dragon or a kaiju, and without obvious visual cues like the Triceratops horns and Velociraptor feet, there would be nothing in it to qualify it as a dinosaur-related figure. It's obviously meant to be a quote-unquote realistic interpretation of the unreleased Ultimasaurus design, which I'm sure a lot of fans were super excited about, but the lack of a cohesive design on Nanmu's part does severely limit its appeal in my eyes. The only reason I own one is because I got it for dirt cheap off the secondhand market, and the one I got isn't even what I consider to be the stronger variant of the two. We'll see if its artistic merit grows on me and is eventually enough to sway me to shell out for the other variant down the line, but for now, one of these monstrosities is enough for my shelves. But getting into the official top 5, kicking off the list for spots 4 and 5, we have a bit of a tie between Nanmu's Nutcracker Soldier Parasaurolophus, both the standard green release and their Dragon Soul corpse. When it comes to the sculpt work of these figures, both are quite nice and highly screen accurate, but the intricacies of the trauma on the corpse win the day easily. Likewise, the rotting, gangrenous paint job of the wounds is incredible and arguably better than anything we see on the standard releases. But the paint job on the actual dinosaur feels incredibly simplistic in comparison, almost to a distracting degree. The paint job on the standard release isn't anything groundbreaking for Nanmu, but at least there are different apparent layers of color and application techniques. Plus, I do really like the pose on this one, even if it is a bit of a pain in the butt to display, given how prone it is to warping and toppling over time. I don't know, I feel like if the corpse had better paint on the body, it would be the easy winner here, and might even work its way further up the list, but as is, you could probably slot these two into either spot on this list, and I wouldn't disagree. That said, if pressed, I would give the number 5 spot to the standard release and the number 4 spot to the corpse. Now for my number 3 spot. I would be remiss if I did not mention the Watchmen Brachiosaurus Quartet released by Nanmu this year. If you've been subscribed to me since, I don't know, February, you know that the Nanmu Brachiosaurus has been a serious bone of contention for me since the whole shipping debacle of their rearing Dragon Soul offering. That and Nanmu's unwillingness to properly address the situation or make things right really negatively colored my perception of the company. And ever since then, every new release, and especially new additions to their Dragon Soul line, leaves a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. So yeah, these Brachs represent a stark turning point for me. But with the new year, I think it's time I finally put it behind me. The work on these models is great as always, and the fact that we got a rearing offering was a real nostalgic treat. But even despite the headache the Dragon Soul figure caused, I don't think it even turned out to be the best. No, in my opinion, the easy standout was the vibrantly colored male variant, which wasn't even part of the initial release. Yeah, the sculpt doesn't perfectly capture the extra bulk of the JP3 males, but when it comes to the paint job, this is easily the most intricately painted of the three, and perhaps one of the best painted large models I've ever seen, making it my number 3 pick of the year. Regardless of your favorite of the bunch, it sure is cool to have them all together to represent the different color designs of each film appearance. And the runner-up of the year goes to Nanmu's Carnotaurus Ranger 2.0 release. Yeah, the whole 2.0 release thing has gotten real old real fast, but the work on these figures is pretty incredible from a paint and sculpt standpoint. If I had to pick just one though, it would easily be the standard version thanks to its gorgeous paint job. Of course, the Demon's paint job is nice in and of itself. The transition between the charcoal base tone and cream underbelly is immaculate. But I think the standard figure really shines in its subtle patterning. Either way, these are two awesome looking Carnos, and I love that Nanmu went out of their way to create both unique variants we see on screen in the world films. And the number 1 pop culture release of the year goes to Nanmu's Spinosaurus Supplanter, the 2.0 movie release. Yeah, another 2.0 release, but there's really no denying the artistry and all-around improvement we see in this figure from a technical standpoint. The size is more impressive, the pose is more dynamic and imposing, the sculpt work is much more subtle, and the paint job is so much more intricate and beautifully applied. Plus, you're able to complete the look with an awesome base straight out of JP3, something we never got with the original. I'm sure there will be people in the comments section arguing for the Dragon Soul version. I haven't gotten mine just yet, but I'm hoping to soon. But either way, this Spinosaurus easily takes the cake for the time being. Not just as the best JP3 Spinosaurus currently on the market, but as the best pop culture figure of 2022. So there you have it, everyone. Those are my picks for the best pop culture inspired models of 2022. I don't think it's any real surprise here that Nanmu dominated this year. With the likes of Rebor focusing their talents on more original works, Nanmu was free to corner the unofficial market. And it looks like they're poised to continue their monopoly in the coming months. Whether or not the 2.0 releases and hyper-focus on the Dragon Soul series proves to be sustainable in the long run is anyone's guess. Personally, I'm already a little tired of it, and I don't know how many of their figures I'll be buying going forward, but it'll be interesting to see how everything shakes out. In the meantime, be sure to let me know what your favorite pop culture models were for the year of 2022. Do you agree with my picks, or do you think I'm way off the mark? Is there one you think I missed, and what are you most looking forward to in the new year in regards to pop culture releases? Leave all of your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again real soon for my top 10 scientific releases countdown. But until then, take care out there, and bye-bye.